Joining us right now on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line, it is my great honor to have a current member of the Philadelphia Phillies, catcher extraordinaire, Garrett Stubbs, joining us. What's up, Garrett?
How we doing, Mark? Doing well.
Awesome. We appreciate you coming up. First off, congratulations on the success out there in San Diego. Got to take 3 of 4 from the Padres in front of your family. How great was that?
Pretty fun. Very hectic weekend with all of the family and friends coming to the game. But the love and support from everybody it felt amazing. It was great to see everybody. Going back to San Diego is always a blessing for me.
That's great, man. It certainly seemed like everyone was having a good time. You come up with the big base knock as well, driving some runs. That was pretty awesome. It seemed like you guys in the Nolas were just trying to have a little family reunion out there.
Yeah, watching Noli pitch to his brother, I wasn't behind the plate, but from the bench, I got to imagine that was a pretty cool feeling. I got a younger brother who's in the Houston Astros organization. So while I'm not a pitcher and he's not a pitcher, so we won't have that matchup, to be either playing on the same team or playing against each other one day is definitely a dream of ours.
I'm sure. Is it true that your father actually started a travel baseball team? Like there was Little League where you were growing up, but there wasn't like a travel baseball team and your father started one?
Yeah, I mean, so travel baseball in general when I was growing up wasn't really a thing yet. It wasn't one of the places where you got seen, or it was mostly Little League. You know, if you wanted to play organized baseball, you were playing Little League, at least in my area. So my dad, while he saw other places getting these travel baseball teams, decided that we needed one for ourselves. So he started the Del Mar Powerhouse. That we started when we were about 8 or 9 years old. And basically from there, we took the one team when we were 8 or 9 years old, then moved on. We were 10, 11, 12, 13. And as the years progressed, it became, there was a 10-year-old team, there was a 10 and 9-year-old team, there was an 11, 10 and 9-year-old team. And so we were always the oldest team. And then it basically filled in from behind us. So he started that when we were 8 years old, and it's still around today. I go back there to San Diego, Del Mar area, and they're there.
Any prospects out there? Anybody Dave Dombrowski should be looking at?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but if there is somebody out there, I'm sure Dave knows about them.
Okay, there you go. I do have to ask this question because, again, 3 of 4 is great. Taking that from the Padres and the recent success of the Phillies since a major change has been awesome. But it looks like you guys are going to be without Bryce Harper, the reigning NL MVP, for quite some time. What was the reaction in the clubhouse to seeing Bryce get hit, and then also knowing that there is a fracture there and you're going to be missing him for a lot of time here?
Definitely frustrating. Super frustrating for Bryce. Having an incredible year it's hard to expect the numbers that he's been putting up, but, you know, a player like that, to see him go out there and play every single day, you know, I can't imagine watching it from anybody else, and see him go down like that. You knew when he got hit, it was pretty bad. The guy does not come out of the game for just anything. So him going into the locker room in that situation, knew it probably wasn't very good. And then to hear that he fractured his finger, definitely a punch to the gut for the whole team. But I know that Bryce feels this way, and so does the rest of the team, that you're not going to have all 26 guys on the roster healthy all year long. And so, you know, we got Mickey Moniak that just got called up, and we expect him to fill a position. And I know he expects himself to be able to get put in these situations and perform. So while you cannot replace Bryce Harper, everyone is still looking forward and knowing that we're going to do everything we can to keep winning ball games.
Is that kind of the vibe of the locker room now? Is that kind of the vibe of the clubhouse where people there's an understanding, like Rob Tomson doesn't need to say anything? Some of the more veteran guys like a Kyle Schwarber or Rhys Hoskins or Nick Castellanos, do they have to say anything, or is it kind of understood that, hey guys, it's just about everybody else stepping up now?
Yeah, no, not at all. No team meeting, no nothing like that. Everyone understands the kind of player that Bryce Harper is, and you cannot replace that. But at the same time, we're out there ready to win ball games, and we have a lot of really good players on that field still. So Mickey's going to come in and do his thing, and we're going to keep winning ball games. That's the expectation in the locker room and for our fans too. So that's the plan going forward.
Fans certainly enjoy the Phillies winning and winning a lot of ball games.
So do we.
I'm sure. When it comes to moving on from Joe Girardi, my take on it, it wasn't that it was like Joe Girardi didn't know what he was doing, or he was some terrible baseball guy or something like that. It was more along the lines, it felt like there wasn't the right fit there with this clubhouse and Joe Girardi for whatever reason. Is there a change? Is there a big change in Rob Tomson taking things over? Do you guys have more say as players? What is it like right now? What was that transition like going from Girardi to Tomson?
Everyone loved Joe Girardi. I don't think anybody in our locker room has or could say anything bad about the guy. We liked him as a manager. We liked him as a person. He was great. I think Rob Tomson coming in to fill the new role has a different vibe and energy to him, good or bad. Obviously, we've been winning more ball games, so everything seems great, and everyone loves Top. I mean, when he was under Joe Girardi, that's why Joe had him as his bench coach. They've had a long history together with the Yankees and now with the Phillies. And I know Joe's watching the games and is probably really proud of Top. They have a great relationship. So there's no bad blood between the separation between the two of them. And now being able to have Top up at the helm has been awesome. I think everyone loves playing for him. I think he brings an energy that everyone is a little bit grittier out there on the field. There's a little bit of an FU mentality while we play. And the energy in the dugout has, I think people see it on camera. And I know we feel it day in and day out that we understand that there's a lot of really good baseball players on the field when the Phillies are playing. And there's an expectation to win. And so the energy and that expectation basically comes out when we're playing on all those ball games. So it's been a lot of fun, and having Topper there at the top, man, it's good playing for that guy.
Yeah. What is it about? Like, we only see him really in the press conferences and all that, and then occasionally in the dugout when he's getting upset about balls and strikes, maybe whatever it might be. But what is it about his personality that kind of translates to you guys the best? Is it that FU mentality? What is it exactly that hits you guys the best?
I think a part of it is, like you said, you might see some reactions out of him about balls and strikes, but he is a very even-keeled person. Big situation, tight game, blowout. He really just walks that line and does not ride the roller coaster. I like calling riding the wave. And that feels good as players. We're going to go like this all year long as far as statistics and things like that. You're going to have a game where you strike out a whole bunch. You're going to have a game where you go 4 for 4. And to be able to ride the wave instead of the roller coaster is huge. And when the guy at the top rides that wave all the time, it makes it easier for us players to feel calm in certain situations and know that he's got our back at all times. And that FU mentality that he's got, I think it does translate into the players a little bit. I think there's, it's not a Mr. Nice Guy mentality. It's a, hey, today, while we might have friends across the field, because we all know each other across the league, a lot of us played with each other or grew up playing against each other, whatever it may be. But when we're out, on the diamond, it becomes a different ball game, and there's no friends between the lines as far as the other team when you're trying to win and there's competition. So like you saw with the Nola brothers, I even made a joke about it to Austin before the game the other day was, Austin walked out to home plate and kind of gave a nod out to Aaron, and Aaron just kind of gave him a very slight, I don't even know you kind of head nod to him. And that, that's awesome to me, going and watching Aaron kind of go after his brother and knowing like, hey, this is a dream and everyone's excited to watch this, but I'm trying to get you out right now. So
that's great.
It's cool stuff.
That's awesome. One of the things Rob Tomson said that I really liked was after your pitching, was it your pitching debut? Was that the first time you had ever pitched? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
They asked him about it after the game, and he said, yeah, I was kind of looking at guys on the bench that might want to go in, and Stubbs was like, yeah, I'll do it. And Rob Tomson is like, he's a ball player. He's got it. He knows what to do. What was that exchange like? Did it go down just like that?
Essentially, yeah. He basically came up to me and asked me if I'd ever pitched before, and I said no. And he goes, well, would you feel comfortable doing it? And I said, hell yeah. So the exchange was basically him thinking, I think that he could go out there and throw strikes essentially, and a position player going out there and pitching. there's not an expectation of getting outs really, other than, hey, have him put it in play. Odds are you're going to get 3 outs eventually. And he felt like I was the guy to be able to do that. I got 3-0 on one guy, and I was like, oh my gosh, I better not walk him. Ended up hitting a homer, but better than a walk. So, yeah, the exchange was essentially that. And so I got to have my pitching debut, which was fun.
Good talk. Go warm up. There you go.
Exactly.
Now, this is another moment I got to ask you about. You've made it your Twitter avatar. For people that don't follow you yet on Twitter, make sure you follow Garrett Stubbs, at Garrett Stubbs. Right there, you can see it. The profile picture is shortly after your walk-off home run against the Marlins that people were just losing their minds for, my friend.
Yeah.
You come to Philadelphia. You were an 8th-round pick, if I'm not mistaken, of the Astros. You come to Philadelphia, your first major league home run, and then you walk one off. It's been a busy year for you already.
Wild. Yeah, you talk about people losing their minds about it. I lost my mind when I did it. So I've had never hit a major league home run until maybe 2 weeks prior to that, or whatever the timeline was. And then to come up in a situation like that, I was not trying to hit a homer. I was trying to get Schwarber up to the plate so that he could hit a homer. And I got a good pitch to hit and put it over the fence in a huge spot. And basically all my emotions came out of me. I did not expect myself to do that. I don't think anybody expected me to do that. And so to be able to have that kind of success in a moment like that, all the emotions possible came out of me. And that was my genuine reaction after being able to have the Phils get a win late in the game.
The bat spike, is that something that you've done before? Is that something that you've always done? What was that's just what happened?
I haven't hit very many homers in my life, and I have never watched any of them in my entire career. In that moment, I knew that I got it, and I felt like I wanted to enjoy it and look to the dugout and watching everybody go nuts. We all went nuts together. And the bat spike, I don't know where that came from, but watching back on it, I love it, man. It was a fun reaction, a good moment for Philly, a good moment for me personally, and a huge win for us against Miami, another division team. And, people write them off thinking that they're not a good team, but that is a very good Miami Marlins team over there, playing in a very good NL East division. So to be able to beat them in that moment was huge.
Speaking of divisional opponents, the Braves are coming to town for a 3-game series. This is after you guys took 4 of 5 from the Washington Nationals in a 5-game series, obviously. After you took 2 or 3 from the Marlins, finally got that monkey, or that fish rather, off your back. At least it's for this ball club as a whole. How big is this series? How pivotal is this series against the Atlanta Braves coming up?
Yeah, I think it's just as big as any other one. We go out there every time, every game, whether it's a National League team, American League team, in-division team, and try to win a series. You're not going to necessarily win every game, sweep a team, but we're looking for series wins. And so to be able to go do that up in Washington, we swept a doubleheader, which is, man, that is tough to do. And go take 4 out of 5 when we're playing 5 in 4 days, huge. To go do a 3 out of 4 series and take that from San Diego, a really, really good team at their place, huge. So we got Atlanta coming this week. We're going to prepare the same way we do for every team and look for that series win. And that's what we're hoping for.
Mm-hmm. When you were with the Astros, I know there was a lot of people there catching prospects, a lot of people to battle for. You come to Philadelphia, a battle for that backup spot, so to speak. You come to Philadelphia, JT Realmuto is here, but you're the guy right behind him. What is it like being, a catcher on this team with a guy like JT Realmuto?
It's awesome. I think I have the best job in the big leagues. Obviously, everyone wants to start. Everyone wants to play every day. But to be able to back up in my opinion, and I think the opinion of a lot of people, is the best catcher in the big leagues. It's fun. It's awesome. I get to learn from the number one guy in all of baseball and watch him do his thing every day, handle the staff, catch behind the plate, throw guys out unlike anybody I've ever seen before. So for me to be able to back up JT coming in here and knowing that I was just going to get an opportunity to fight for that spot was enough for me out in spring training. I didn't really get that opportunity over with Houston. So to be able to fight for that backup spot was huge. And then to be able to get it and be able to capitalize on some of these opportunities that I've been getting. Like I said, to be able to back up the best catcher in the league, that's an awesome job.
You certainly did it against the Marlins. Bryson Stott has had his moment in the sun, so hopefully that keeps on coming. Matt Vierling has had some big hits for this team as well. And you, like I mentioned, what does it mean, especially in a moment like this where you might not have Bryce Harper for an extended period, well, you won't have Bryce Harper for an extended period of time. What is it like to know as a team that it's almost like anybody could go out there and play the role of the hero?
Yeah, I mean, that makes a complete ball club, right? I think there was a stat that I saw, something about the 1900s and a 9-hole hitter walk-off homer for the first time in however long. Topper came up to me and told me that stat. I think it was the next day or the day after. And he said that was the first time it's done in however many years. And I was like, well, that's a sign of a complete good ball club. And I think that's what we have, 1 through 9. There's really no breaks in the lineup. Even if you've never heard of a Bryson Stott or a Matt Vierling or a Garrett Stubbs, these are good players that have put up numbers in the minor leagues and can take a good at bat. And so, everyone knows those big names that are up at the top, but the names that they might not have seen in the last however many years, maybe they're going to know about those names here pretty soon. And so I think that we all feel like no matter who's at the plate, we've got a shot at winning the ball game, whether we're down by however many runs. I think that everyone feels that guy is going to pass the baton to the next guy and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. And like I said, when I was up in that one situation, I was trying to get Schwarber to the plate, and it just so happened that the game ended in that at bat. But everyone's just trying to get the next guy up because everyone feels like no matter who's hitting, we got a shot.
You mentioned some of the guys you've caught on this team. A lot of us in the fan base are looking at Seranthony Dominguez and thinking if they're going to get another closer, if they're going to be a guy that they can rely on in that 9th inning, it seems like it's Seranthony Dominguez. I think you can't deny physically the stuff that he has, but we all know a closer's role is more about the mental aspect of it, the guy that's going to slam the door close. From what you know, what you've caught from Seranthony Dominguez, does he seem like a guy that will grow into that closer's role at some point in his career?
I think he's got the stuff. I think he's got the mentality. I think he's got it all to be the closer. As far as what the organization would do, I have no idea what the decisions will be made up top or with who will fill that role. I know we're going by committee right now. Sir's done an incredible job, though. And I know he's even-keeled, ride the wave kind of guy, too, with that FU when he's on the mound. So he's got the mentality, and I don't even need to talk about the stuff. I mean, everyone's seen it all over the internet. That guy has an electric fastball with secondary stuff to back it up.
All right. Now, this is the question. Everything else, Gary, that I've asked you about, I'll be honest with you, other than your upbringing, your father starting the team, this is the question I've wanted to get to this whole time we've been talking. I am a huge Frank Sinatra fan, have been my entire life. I'm listening to the Phillies game. I have it on, whatever, and I'm like, did I leave my speakers on? Like, what do I hear? That's life. And no, it's new Phillies catcher Garrett Stubbs walking to the plate. How did you come to the realization, or how did you come to the decision to have Frank Sinatra, That's Life, as your walk-up music?
Well, it's an incredible song, both by an incredible artist, and the lyrics of the song are great. The lyrics of the song is the reason why I chose it. I actually chose it in 2020 or 2021 was the first time that I had it as my walk-up, kind of after the whole debacle with COVID and everything shutting down. And I just felt like that song specifically, I love old music like that. I know basically all the music that we listen to now has either come from somebody like Frank Sinatra, whether it's the lyrics or the sound. It all comes from people who have already really done it. And now there's a new age of sound that comes from a guy like Frank. And so when I moved over to Philly, I figured, why would I not keep That's Life by Frank Sinatra, not only because of the incredible song that it is, but the fact that he was a Hoboken guy, a Northeast guy, and I figured, we're bringing Frank to Philly, and we're walking up to That's Life, and it seems to have caught on, and people have enjoyed it, and I've enjoyed it the same.
Yeah, there used to be a mural of Frank Sinatra, I think, on Broad and Wharton in South Philly. Yeah, and then they like painted, they like put a building over top of it and a gas station as well or something. It was crazy. But I remember thinking, Frank Sinatra mural. Come on. Yeah. Garrett Stubbs, finally, before we get to our Farzy 5 here, just what are your overall impressions of Philly? What did you know about Philadelphia before you came here? Not just the organization, but the city itself, and kind of what was your welcome to Philadelphia moment?
Well, I had absolutely nothing in my head as far as what Philly would be like. I hadn't heard much. I mean, I'm a West Coast guy. I had been to the Northeast before, both to play and, I'd been to New York City, but I'd never been to Philadelphia. I didn't know too many people other than Chas McCormick on the Astros. He's from Philadelphia. So I heard a little bit from him, but I hadn't heard much else. Now that I'm settled in an apartment, we do only get so many off days. So I feel like there's so much more to explore of Philadelphia that I haven't gotten to. But I got an electric bike, which is actually sitting right next to me.
Nice.
Because one thing that I have learned about Philadelphia is parking is not a thing here. There is nowhere to park. So you're either walking somewhere or riding a bike somewhere. So I bought a bike, and on my off days, I've started to ride to Washington Square. I'm in University City, so gone over to Washington Square, gone to Rittenhouse Square, kind of just roamed around the whole city over that direction. And so I've gotten to know the city a little bit more as I've been here, but I know there's a lot more that I want to see. And if anybody has any Philly cheesesteak recommendations, I have been to, I think it's called Cleaver's in Rittenhouse area. But I'm looking for any Philly food recommendations from anybody. I have a list of a few spots. El Vez is one that I've been to, not a Philly cheesesteak place, but restaurant. I've been to Barclay Prime. I went to Randstead Room for a drink on an off day one time. So I'm trying to pop around, start to get a feel for some of these old school bars that I've walked by. Cool spots, man. They are really cool spots. So I've enjoyed my time.
If you like a nice dive bar, Oscars in Center City, they got PBR on tap. That's all you need to know.
There we go. I'm in.
Yeah, PBR on tap. And Johnny Cash on the jukebox. So there you go.
Love it.
Yeah, and it's an actual jukebox. It's not like a Playtones or whatever the hell that is.
Flipping through the book.
Exactly. Good. Garrett Stubbs, do you mind playing the Farzy 5 with us? You want to take the Farzy 5?
Let's do it.
All right, let's bring in the band real quick here. I know you've been more than generous with your time. Fellas, you want to get it going here? You want to make it happen here? There. Wow, lively today. Lively, fellas. All right, here we go. Garrett Stubbs, first question. Best job before baseball?
Best job before baseball.
Best job you had before baseball?
I had one job before baseball, and it was a real estate development job because I honestly did not think that I was going to be playing professional baseball for as long as I have. So I was a real estate major in college, got an internship my junior to senior year, did not go to summer ball. That was my job other than baseball pretty much my whole life. Signs
you're going to make it to the major leagues as a child. Your father starts a travel baseball team for you.
Yeah.
That might have been a hit. Good start. Question number 2. Go to fast food place.
In-N-Out Burger, man.
Oof.
All day long. And I know we got a lot of East Coasters out here. When I was in Texas, it was not a big fan of that. Whataburger was a huge one there in Texas.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it is here on the East Coast. What do we got here?
We got McDonald's, we got Burger King, we got Shake Shack, if you consider that fast food. We got your Wendy's. We don't have a Jack in the Box. I don't even know where the closest White Castle is, but I know it's like within 2 hours.
Yeah. See, In-N-Out is just a West Coast staple, and it is the go-to no matter what.
I will say this. People always said, you only like it because you don't have it near you.
There you go.
BS. I had it every time I was in California, and I've been in California a bunch.
Good.
Oh, God, it's so amazing. First date deal breaker, Garrett Stubbs. First date deal breaker.
First date deal breaker. I like nice people, man. If you're rude, if you're mean, if you just, I also like positive people. So if you're a negative Nancy, I'm out. I can't do it. It's not for me.
Yeah, I'll just warn you, Philadelphia, we're known for our optimism.
I know. I know it, right? I can hear it in the stadium.
Favorite city to travel to?
So, favorite city to travel to is La Paz, Mexico. I go there every single year. Yep, obscure place. It is actually out in the middle of nowhere. It's called Bahía de los Sueños. It's a desert. I actually shouldn't even say this because I like the fact that it's in the middle of nowhere. But for those listening, it is the most amazing place I've ever been to in my life, and I go there every single year. Unbelievable fishing, a beach basically deserted in the middle of Mexico.
All right.
About as good as it gets for me.
That sounds fantastic. Okay, and then finally, you mentioned the parking situation in Philadelphia. Garrett Stubbs, what makes you beep your horn in traffic?
Man, I went to school in LA. So if you want to talk about traffic, I know traffic. And for me, I'm usually a secondary beeper. If somebody's beeping at me, I'm beeping back at you. As far as the traffic goes, I know people are going to cut each other off, do whatever. If you try to flip me off or beep at me, I'm coming back at you with some heat.
I really like a beep rebuttal. Like,
yeah,
no.
It's a secondary beep.
Right.
I might not start, but I'll keep it going if you want to go there.
I love it. Do you have a bell on your bike that's aggressive too, just in case?
I need one. I need one for some biker traffic. I need the bell to get them back. But usually a biker bell, it's like a hey, how you doing kind of ring. So I'm about that too.
Yeah, it's like almost like you're gonna go get some ice cream or something. It's fantastic.
Yeah, whatever it may be.
Fellas, you guys were fantastic. We can cut. Oh, good job today, boys. Garrett Stubbs, absolute pleasure having you on the show and having this conversation. I wish you nothing but success the rest of the year. Hopefully, we can catch up again down the line, and especially. Best of luck in this Brave series. Keep the positive vibes going from that Phillies clubhouse to the Phillies fan base as well. Welcome to Philadelphia. Thanks for being on the show.
Hey, enjoyed my time, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. Garrett Stubbs joining us on the Rothman Orthopaedics guest line.